Hello, Miss Teresa Richardson. How are you, my dear?
I'm doing wonderful, Kelly Jackson. How are you doing?
I'm good. Super excited to talk to you today. There is so much buzz about our new collaboration, and I wanted to get you on camera.
Oh, fantastic. I wish I looked better.
You look fantastic. You look fantastic. And I am going to be very mindful of your time. So I'm going to hop right in.
Okay.
And so you and I met, we worked together, and you've been in PMO. I always get it mistaken, the
Yeah.
office and all of that. And then me in talent acquisition. In thinking about our new initiative to roll out a project management career path to midlife corporate professionals that are thinking about a career transition, the reason why I wanted to do this is one, there was a lot of demand about this position. Why do you think that is? What is happening right now, even for those that are currently PMs or wanting to transition their skills into a different role or different, I don't know, position? What is the attraction to project management?
One of the beauties of project management, and I think we've talked about this before, it originally started from construction,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So just like the construction foreman having to coordinate and manage all of the moving parts of building anything. Just think about a house,
Yeah.
how you build a house and make it from an idea on paper to
Hmm.
something that someone puts the key in the door and opens up the door and moves in and sits on their sofa. So
Hmm.
one person was responsible for corralling all of the elements of the house building, and that's how project management started.
Hmm.
So the foundations of project management will always be the same regardless of what industry,
Hmm.
but it's the expertise that you have in a particular industry that gives you added value.
Hmm.
But once you learn how to project manage, you can literally project manage anything,
Anything. Yeah.
so and everything.
Yeah.
So, and it's not even you can be a project manager anywhere once you
Hmm.
know the foundation of project management, and
Hmm.
then certainly grow your advanced skills. You
Hmm.
can literally project manage any aspect of your life, your career,
Hmm.
your hobbies, your philanthropy efforts. You can add project management to help um, get you from an idea to the realization of
Hmm.
whatever product service
Hmm.
that you are looking to develop. So, and that's
Yeah.
really it. I mean, and it will never not be hot.
Hmm.
Um, there are certainly iterations of project management. So the standard, see an idea, follow these particular steps in a particular order in order to achieve an end goal. But then there's
Hmm.
also, the agile craze that happened so many
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
that really lends itself better to technology with delivering, small consumable bits of product as
Hmm.
you grow into like the larger fantasy idea of what you want to develop. And it's just in every industry, every company,
Hmm.
project management is really required, whether you have a project manager to
Hmm.
do the work or you have someone acting as a project manager to follow specific steps from, like I said, from an idea to the realization of whatever it is that you want
You're
in your
creating.
hand.
Wow.
Yeah, what you're creating.
Wow, that's it was fascinating to me when you told me about it because I never thought about it that way, that you
Hmm.
can project manage in any industry, whether
Yeah.
it's technology, healthcare, manufacturing, um, green skills, whatever
Hmm.
the vertical or sector, a
Yep.
project manager is needed. And it was also fascinating to learn the origin of
Yeah.
project management because it makes sense. It ties in.
Yeah.
I never had heard the term before outside of construction until I
Hmm.
got into the corporate space. And so it's really good because working with midlife professionals that are currently working and want to make a career transition, there's a lot of transferable skills. And to your point earlier, we project manage our lives for the most
Yes.
part, right? Because I
Yes.
definitely need somebody to project manage on this end. So
Right.
I think that's what makes this so attractive. And I understand now better just in speaking with you,
Mhm.
the demand for it. And so I know you've been in project management for a long time. Is
Yeah.
that why you got into it? Because of the mobility of your skills, or talk to us a little bit about that?
So I was managing a project for a large bank that everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and um, one of the not necessarily selling points, but one of the claims to fame was this large bank
Mm-hmm.
actually spent $1 million a day with
Wow.
the services that my company provided.
Wow.
So because of that, when they hit that $1 million a day mark, then more resources started to get involved in managing their account. I was already a part of the account, providing implementation specialty services for the services that they consumed from my company. But
Mm-hmm.
then they started to bring in more support resources and more
Mm-hmm.
technologists and engineers and architects to help things move along, something that I was already doing,
Oh, yeah.
not knowing that it was literally called project management or professional project management.
Oh, wow.
And being in that role and doing that, I was introduced to a professional project management organization, or a project management professional services provider,
Mm.
and and they literally pulled me into the fold,
Mm-hmm.
and from there I realized, okay, so project management is obviously in my blood. It is what I do. It's what I do naturally. Now there's a name to it. Now there are certifications. Now there's a career path for me,
Wow.
for the rest of my career, whether I stay in technology or go to construction or go to healthcare, just like you said, or do
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit work. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
The skills that I've learned and been certified for and taking these classes and gotten all of the experience for, I can take everywhere.
Right.
So,
Right. So
so
you
like I,
were around when
yeah.
they first created the certification for
No, not. I probably got my certification. So PMI is the organization, the International Project Management
Mm-hmm.
organization that provides the top PM credential, which is a project management professional, or PMP.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my PMP is like a version 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's much harder now to achieve a project management professional certification
Do
than
you
it
need
was when
one?
I got mine. You don't need one.
Okay.
However,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, we're going to be transparent. I mean,
Okay.
my salary increased by a significant amount. Back then, my
Mm-hmm.
salary was very low, starting out, we're talking the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But to see a $10,000 increase in my salary once
Yeah.
I got that PMP was almost a 60% increase in my salary.
Wow.
So while you don't need a PMP, you don't need a project management professional certification, having the not just the knowledge of how to project manage, the
Mm-hmm.
foundation of how to project manage, and then some type of I've got some project management training in my belt
Mm-hmm.
that can prove to you that I understand the tenets, I understand the iron triangle, I understand how
Mm-hmm.
to how to take every element of project management, not just seeing an idea and turning it into an actual live thing,
Mm-hmm.
but managing those resources, whether it's human resources, financial resource, time,
Right.
and physical resources. It's knowing how to manage that, knowing how to manage risks and mitigations, like identifying risks and
Mm-hmm.
mitigating those risks in the course of a project. So again, a PMP is not necessary, but training is absolutely necessary, because
Right.
you can't go into a a role as a project manager, and really not know how to get from, again, that idea to
Mm-hmm.
the living, breathing thing that they hold in their hand,
Right.
without understanding that there are going to be some bumps and hurdles and caves that you have to crawl up, over, and through, and then
Mm-hmm.
how to address that and how to mitigate that.
I
So,
love that. Love,
yeah.
love, love that. Love that. Love that. And so in your last role, you were with
Mhm.
Visa working in project management within cybersecurity. Is that how?
Absolutely.
So, like you said, I guess you can project manage even
Anything.
within any industry inside of
Mhm.
any business unit or department inside of a company, right?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. So the work that I did for Visa, again, it was in Visa cybersecurity organization, and I specifically was a part of a governance, risk, and compliance team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Previously, so obviously, well, not obviously, but as a project manager, I learn new skills based on the projects that I implement, right? So
Mm-hmm.
even though I've been a technical project manager for over 15, 17 years, I've been able to project manage implementations and service development that really run the gamut. So my most recent focus had been on governance, risk, and compliance, and specifically the payment card industry. So for I worked for a large retailer. We worked together,
Mm-hmm.
and um, being able to take payments is
Mm-hmm.
obviously essential for
Yeah. Yeah.
a retailer or anyone who's providing services. So because cybersecurity had gotten so hot in the past, 5, 6, 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
I started taking classes on my own to just enhance my skills. And that was,
Mm-hmm.
one of the beautiful things, and that I identify with, is I am a constantly learning person.
Continuously.
So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
Exactly. So if
Mm-hmm.
I take on a project for something that I'm not super familiar with,
Mm-hmm.
which I did often because I wanted to expand my reach, and I also wanted to prove that as a project manager, as a certified project manager, as a certified scrum manager, I can project manage anything. So I would take
Mm-hmm.
on projects that I really had limited knowledge about the product and the services.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I would learn about it. I would take some training classes on my own so I could ask those why questions, those clarifying questions, and those inquisitive questions to get to understand what was
Yeah.
actually required. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so my last role at Visa was something like that. I had taken on some cybersecurity and governance, risk, and compliance tasks and some work at
Mm-hmm.
Macy's. And I realized that there was a marriage that needed to happen between what I was doing in the
Mm-hmm.
PCI world, in the governance, risk, and compliance world, and what I've done for the past almost 30
30
years in
years.
project management. So that's
Wow.
exactly what I did when I went over to Visa. So I actually was director of program management for the payment card industry version upgrade, which was massive,
Mm-hmm.
required new bills, it required new technology. So
Mm-hmm.
that was what I was responsible for when I was at Visa.
Wow. I can see the synergy there and
Hmm.
how that easily translates or comes together there.
Yeah,
Just a couple more questions. So I hear
sure.
often Scrum Master and project
Hmm.
management. What's the
Yep.
difference? Or is there a difference?
It's not. There is no difference
Okay.
when you talk about project management. It's all project management. It's all methods of implementing projects or managing projects. So there are various project management methodologies. There's the waterfall methodology, which is traditional project management. That's just like like I said, the construction project management, or anything that requires predetermined steps or steps that needed to be finished before you can move on to the next step. And then Agile came in, which is you can throw ideas onto a board based on what a customer or client or whoever a stakeholder wants to have implemented. And it's like a constant development of prototypes of consumable prototypes. And that's what a Scrum Master is, or a Agilist is, or a Lean Agilist is, or a Scaled Agilist is. It is that person who can see that big picture that your client or stakeholder is giving you. And while the client or stakeholder may not necessarily know what the end goal should look like, as a Scrum Master, you are pulling the resources together and the knowledge together and partnering with that stakeholder regularly to give them consumable kind of prototypes to start developing that end goal. So that's where Scrum comes in. It's
Okay.
simply another project management methodology, and there are several project management methodologies. But again, once you become a project manager, this is all part of learning and training and that continuous learning to understand that I'm
Mm-hmm.
not just a waterfall PM, but I can give you, I can build a Scrum team and give and turn your ideas into something magnificent that will not only add revenue to my team as a Scrum team, but will certainly add revenue and clout and high reviews, good, 5-star reviews for,
Mm-hmm.
for your business as well, because we're able to make enhancements on something that you've asked for that may seem basic,
Mm-hmm.
but that we can expand and grow and make beautiful for you. So yeah,
That's amazing. That's
thanks.
amazing. That sounds fun.
Yeah, yes,
It
yeah,
sounds fun. I would love
yeah,
a Bugatti bike.
right.
Well,
Right.
I guess my final question would be in the career path that we're creating, are you going to create it so that once they're inside, there will be a path that they can pick, right? It's not like a
Absolutely.
catch-all, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Project management foundations encompasses a number of methodologies. It's
Mhm.
understanding it teaches all of the methodologies. But if someone decides that they only want to live in an agile or a scrum or a lean world, which is all basically all the same, just different terminologies and
Mhm.
slightly different intricacies to how a lean agilist or a safe agilist or a scrum master do things. If the learners of this program want to dive a little bit deeper or focus or become a specialist in a particular methodology, they absolutely can. But foundationally, we need them to know all of
Yeah.
the full foundation of project management, including all of the methodologies, because what's more beautiful and what's more valuable to a project manager is the ability to pull any of those methodologies out of their project for the sake of what their stakeholders need.
Oh,
um,
love that.
because in the grand scheme of things, a project manager at the most basic level is it's they're kind of a servant leader where they are here to provide services to their stakeholders, provide them support, provide them direction, provide them guidance, provide them expert knowledge on how to get from, again, that idea of what they want
Mhm.
to the actual product that they could use and profit off of. So being as a project manager, being able to pull those, additional skills out of your pocket to show to your stakeholder that, yeah, I can project manage infrastructure, which is very step oriented. You've got to
Mhm.
complete one step before you move on to the next. I can absolutely provide project management to support the infrastructure for your projects, I mean, for your business. But I can also project manage any software development, which is more agile. I can also project manage the building of your data centers or your hospitals or your nonprofit buildings or your distribution centers. If you're in retail, I can project manage that as well. So being
Mhm.
able to pull those skills
Mhm.
out of and utilize those methodologies in a professional way out of,
Mhm.
at any given time, will only make you the best well-rounded project manager that you can be, basically. And all of the methodologies that and that you're expert at just really increases your value.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
true.
know
That is so
So
true. That
so
is so
there
true.
are a number of tracks that we can really create
Mhm.
to train our midlifers,
Yeah.
set them a foundation, and then if they decide that they want to just focus on, you know, becoming a Scrum Master, then they
Mhm.
will absolutely get, get recognized, get selected, get hired for
Mhm.
that work, because the project management foundation is a standard. You have to have that foundation, and
Mhm.
then you can do offshoots into whatever direction you want to go.
Oh, I love that. I am so excited. The
Same.
demand for this has been, I think, more than I expected, to be honest with
Right.
you,
Right.
when I
Right.
reached out to you. So I'm super excited about this. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy woman. We appreciate you. And yeah, I'll see you inside of Expert Age.
Sounds perfect. Thank you, Kelly.